let's bring in our panelists, the Rise Analyst, Mahmud, Jega in our offside studio, Elton, Onwu, a member of the APC Presidential Campaign Council in 2019 and member Tinubu Support Group, and Chekwas Okorie, Chieftain All Progressives Congress, joins us from Enugu. Gentlemen, very warm welcome to Newsnight. Let me start by asking Elton, Onwu, you're right here in the studio with us. You want to tell me, isn't this a formal declaration already by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
Well, thank you for having me here. I must tell you that today is one of the happiest days that any person who is a progressive in the context of Nigerian politics, would really rejoice, because we have clamored for this day for a very long time now, where our national leader will officially shed his toga as the national leader of the APC, and by 2023 assume a new title, hopefully by God's grace, as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So it is like he has come out today to let the cat out of the bag. This is not this is just for information purposes, and then he has informed Mr. President officially, informed the Vice President officially, and then we are waiting for Nigerians to be informed officially on a date to be announced very soon.
All right, let me bring this to Chekwas Okorie, who is joining us from Enugu. Of course, like you heard earlier, he's a member of the APC. What does this declaration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, what does it mean for the APC? And like you heard from our guest here in the studio, Mr. Onwu, that he has informed, of course, the president, he's informed the vice president. What do you make of this declaration, considering his relationship with the vice president, who is also likely to be interested? Chekwas Okorie.
I will say that, yes, I will say that it is within the right of Senator Ahmed Tinubu to aspire to become the president of Nigeria on the platform of the APC. That intention is been made known to the president, and he has declared as much to the Nigerian people. He also said he is still continuing with his consultations. It has the rumor of his interest to run for president has been there for a long time, and he's beginning to step out now to confirm that he's indeed interested. For me, the stake for the office of president come 2023 is beginning to rise to a high level. He's not the only one who is interested to run, but here he has stepped out boldly, and I believe, according to what he said, it wouldn't be long before he comes out to make an open declaration. But there are other people who are equally interested, who have allowed others to drum up support for them without stepping out boldly. Just like the vice president you mentioned, he has not come out openly to say that this is what he is aspiring to do. So it looks like other people are saying this for him. There are the likes of Governor Mahi, who is another eminently qualified person, and so far other people are drumming up support for him. The same thing is happening, can be said of Senator Jus Okalo and Senator Rochas Okorocha. These are all aspirants on the platform of the APC who, by their body language, are planning to run. So it depends now on the APC as a political party to let Nigerians know in good time the criteria for electing the president. Of course, we have now seen that it is the position of the APC, starting with the president of Nigeria, that direct primaries will not be accepted. And it's beginning to be clear too that APC may go for consensus, not even indirect primaries. So the party will help those aspiring to run by coming up in good time to state the criteria for selection. And if the party is intending to zone, as has been the case since 1999 with other parties, the party should be bold enough to state so as well, instead of allowing people to embark on a wild goose chase only to come out at the last minute to give conditions that will shut some people out of the race. That will not augur well for the party. So I think at the end of the day, the party should not allow speculations and rumors to run it down and play it into the hand of the opposition.
Right.
So this is the way I look at it.
Okay, Chekwas, we'll come back to you. We just want Mahmud Jega to quickly answer this question. Mahmud, how would you reconcile Bola Tinubu's, declaration and the, push for the Vice President Osinbajo to also run for the same position, looking at their political history, a godfather, godson in the same contestation? How would you reconcile that?
It is not very neat at all. Chief Tinubu was the main factor behind making Professor Osinbajo the vice president. It was supposed to be his slot, but for calculations of religious balance, he was asked to nominate a replacement, and he nominated Professor Osinbajo. But it has been clear in the last year or two that there is some developing tension between the two of them to do with 2023 presidential ambitions. I can sympathize with Professor Osinbajo. Anybody who has been vice president for 6, getting to 7 years will naturally want to be the presidential candidate in 2023. But of course, Chief Tinubu has been campaigning more or less non-stop since 2015 to succeed to the presidency after the 2 terms of President Buhari. So it's not a very pleasant situation that is developing between the two men as I see it unfolding right now.
Right. We just, before continue with more of that questions and Nigerians with presidential ambitions, let's take a former governor of Akwa Ibom State, Victor Atta, who says for Nigeria to jettison the zoning formula of the presidency, the country must return to the parliamentary system of government.
Anybody that says you should go with the best candidate must first of all say that we should go back to federalism with a parliamentary system, so that people are elected into an assemblage of people, and the leader is just the prime minister. The others will be ministers. The others will have functions to perform. And then you can select, he'll be just like the first among equal. If they don't say that, then they cannot talk about how do you the best of the candidate. If you do what I'm suggesting, what a lot of us are suggesting, go back to federalism with the parliamentary system. Believe me, this turn-by-turn rulership will not have, and it happens because everybody sees in the president a dictator. He dictates nothing. Look, The House of National Assembly is complaining about the president brought, he left out projects, we want to put in projects. That will not happen in the parliamentary system. It will be collective. It will be contributive. Everyone will contribute ideas. When the projects come out, it will be because that's what Nigeria wants, not what the president wants. And we begin to complain or we begin to part. So those that are saying politics should not rotate must first of all say that we want to go back to a proper federal system, and within that federal system, operated by the parliamentary system. Because if you don't do that, then this turn-by-turn requirement will be there. Because my people, everybody has to have his turn to say my people are now in charge.
All right, Obong Victor Atta, former governor of Akwa Ibom State there. Let me bring this to you, stay with you, Mahmud Jega, on Obong Victor Atta's position that before talking about zoning and all of that, we need to talk about true federalism and a parliamentary system. It will put an end to this whole turn-by-turn culture of our democracy. What do you think?
Well, to begin with, I think this argument about true federalism has persisted for long. I remember about 10 years ago, I was asked to do a paper, and I read about 15 books about federalism, and the conclusion is that really there is nothing like true federalism, because the federal system varies with circumstances from Canada to Australia to Nigeria to many other countries. So there is no one federal system that anyone will say that this is the true federal system. And also, I don't think that bears any complete relationship with the presidential or the parliamentary system, because the American system is federal and it is also presidential, whereas the Australian system is parliamentary and it is also federal. So there is no reason why you cannot have a mix of the two. Unfortunately, I disagree with what His Excellency Chief Victor Atta was saying there.
Mahmud, thanks for dropping the cell there. But let me quickly come back to you, Elton. The issue of consensus candidate for the APC is truly looming very, very, very large. That's because the convention can't hold again in February. You have to give 30 days notice to INEC. But won't this consensus candidacy or candidates tear the party apart because people will not be allowed to exercise their franchise? What are your thoughts here?
Well, as it stands right now, the party APC have not zeroed in on any form of medium of conducting its primaries. Okay, Mr. President only returned back the Electoral Act, because of the direct primary clause that was inserted into it, and then he gave very cogent reasons why at this moment in time we might be shortchanging a lot of other political parties if we go with direct primaries. Be that as it may, it is too early right at this moment to start zeroing in on consensus candidacy, since the party has not come out straight with an official statement on its mode of conducting its primaries. So talking about the stress is going to have on the party, it's a little bit premature at this point in time, because what if at the end of the day we settle for direct primaries, and then so we would have been busting our arteries for no justification. So I think the issue of consensus, let us wait until the party takes a stand, and then we can talk about that. For now, right, I think it's immature.
Let me bring in Chekwas Okorie very quickly, if you can, in less than 2 minutes. The same question. Consensus candidate, will that save the APC a lot of stress, or would you recommend something else?
No, consensus candidate will definitely put APC in a turmoil. what the minimum will be indirect primaries. That will be the minimum. Because the party leadership, as epitomized by the president himself, has indicated that direct primaries will not be accepted. And I can see the National Assembly on resumption collaborating and cooperating with the position of the president. So we will now be having those three options available. But for the APC, the way it stands now, anything consensus will bring in crisis. And I also will urge the party urgently to conduct its national convention and restore the critical organs of the party to function. Because this is the only way you can even begin to think of raising a candidate, either at the state level or any other level, especially the presidential level. You cannot begin to talk about a presidential candidate with an ad hoc or caretaker committee. So the party must quickly do what is needed, what everybody is expecting of it, and that is to have a properly democratically elected leadership that can now come up with the modalities for electing presidential candidates. And these modalities must be approved by the NEC, the National Executive Committee of the party. It is not anything that a group of governors can stay in one room and impose on the party. And with all due respect, it's not also something that the president can order by executive fiat. This is democracy we are talking about here. And the highest executive organ of a political party is the NEC. The convention is the highest organ, quite all right, but the highest executive body is the National Executive Council.
Okay, Chekwas, we'll be back in a moment, gentlemen. We want to go on a short commercial break, and when we return, we'll look more on the emerging 2023 presidential candidates. Stay with us.
All right, many thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Newsnight. Mahmud, Jega, Chekwas, Okorie, and Elton are our guests tonight. Elton, let me bring this to you. I mean, you're a Southeasterner. Chekwas, Okorie also is. That discussion about micro-zoning to the Southeast seems to be dying a natural death. Would you agree with that? And what would it mean if Tinubu didn't or doesn't get the ticket for 2023?
Well, as we all know, politics is a game of numbers. And Southeast, in this current equation, has been playing a politics of, neither being here nor there, actually. And if we must tell ourselves the truth, this particular 2023, presidential elections, to a large extent, I can tell you that Southeast is not prepared, for it. Considering all that has been happening within the enclave of the Southeast, and then, politically, and then with the IPOB and its attendant unleashing of mayhem on Nigeria, and then, you cannot probate and reprobate, at the same time. So if, as it is, we do not, Southeast does not get the slot to contest. It's an open field, for God's sake, here. And nobody has said that Southeast is excluded from parading candidates in the primaries. We are still at the primary stage. And whoever is elected as the candidate of the APC, definitely all of us would join and then, join forces and then make sure that the person is returned as elected in 2023. So, considering the dynamics of the politics of the Southeast today, I don't think that we have started a little bit late, but it's still not yet over, because anything can happen between now and then before the primaries. But that is what it is for the moment. But Asewaju not getting the ticket of the APC it's not something that is a game of numbers, like I said. This is a man that has been out there and has built structures, you know, down the line, and then there is virtually no local government in this country today that does not parade heavyweight leaders that has been made by Asiwaju.
Okay, Elton, let's leave it that way. It's obvious where your own pendulum swings. Let's go back to our offside studio and ask the views of Chekwas Okorie. Chekwas, is it a sit-down look politics that the Southeast is playing, popularized by the late Chief Bola Ige, former Attorney General and Minister of Justice of Nigeria?
No, honestly, I am thoroughly disappointed with the position of the last speaker. The Igbo people of Nigeria are prepared, they have the outreach, they have the number, and they have the goodwill to contest effectively for the president of Nigeria come 2023. Nigeria, since 1999, had adopted a conventional system of rotation. It may not be written in the Constitution expressly, but it has become a convention to rotate the presidency of Nigeria between the North and the South. And I can tell you that Igbo people, talking about number, have always, without many people appreciating it, determined whoever won or lost election in this country. I'll give you the 2015 example, because that is where so many people get it wrong, including my friend who just spoke. The Igbo people felt wronged by President Jonathan that they supported so strongly in 2011. And in 2011, President Jonathan got 7 million votes. That's the INEC record from the Southeast alone. We are not talking about the Igbo people who constitute 25% of the voting population in all the states of the Federation. And in the 2015, the same Igbo people voted with their backside regarding PDP. Although they did not vote for President Buhari, as the record showed, but by denying President Jonathan their votes, President Buhari defeated President Jonathan by only 2.5 million votes, which means that Southeast alone could have turned the table if they did for Jonathan what they did for him in 2011. And now,
let's take it
here we are.
Yes,
we are beginning to play into the APC very strongly, and that accounted for the president defeating his opponent by over 4 million votes in the last 2019 election.
All right, Mr. Chekwas Okorie, thank you so much for your insights. Mahmud, Jega, you might want to weigh in on that, and then I'd like you to comment very quickly on, some are saying it's time for Bola Tinubu to actually play the kingmaker, step down for his proteges to take over. What do you make of that?
About playing a godfather role, I think we have gone beyond that, because Asiwaju Tinubu is already campaigning actively to be the king now, and you can't tell somebody who wants to be the king that he should instead be the kingmaker. He might ultimately be forced by circumstances to play a kingmaker's role if it comes to that, but preferably he would prefer to be the king. And right now he is running, and running quite strongly. So let all the other candidates come out into the field, and then within a few months the dynamics of politics all over the country will begin to play out, and it will become clear who is the serious contender and who has serious problems of all kinds. But it is too early for now, I'm sure, to suggest to Asiwaju that he should retire and become a kingmaker. I don't think he has any good reason to do that, because even if it is age, he can say the sitting president is much older than him, so why should he not contest at this time. And there are others also in PDP who are of the same age or slightly more who are still contesting. So we might see who will become the kingmaker, but not so early in the day.
All right, thanks so very much, Mahmud Jega, Arise News Analyst, Chekwas Okorie, a member of the All Progressives Congress, both in our Jega in our offside studio, and Chekwas Okorie had joined us from Enugu. And here in the studio, Elton Onwu was a former member of the APC 2019 presidential campaign. Thanks, gentlemen, for joining us on Newsnight.